Hey, welcome to my channel. My name's Carter. I love talking about movies, horror movies, superheroes, and comic books. And tonight, I just got out of seeing the new Crow movie, which is actually based on a comic book from quite a few years ago, like over 30 years ago. Their first Crow movie was released 30 years ago. For full context, I've never seen it before. I tried to see if I could watch it. Unfortunately, I just didn't really have enough time. Also, if I have stuff all over my shoulders, like cat hair, it's because my cat, his new favorite thing is to climb on my shoulders. Anyways, The Crow. Have you seen it? If so, what did you think about it? How do you feel like it compares to the original? Like I said, I've never seen the original. I tried to get around to it. Unfortunately, I just didn't have time this week, and that was an error on my part. But I can bring an interesting perspective as someone who has never seen the original and has only seen this film. Ow, dude. Now my cat's joined the video. And The Crow is basically following Eric Draven as he experiences a traumatic event with him and his girlfriend, and he dies and his soul isn't able to rest, so he is sent back to get revenge and make the right things happen. Make the wrong things right, I believe is what they say in the movie a few times. And getting into the positives of the Crow remake, reboot, readaptation, whatever you want to call it, something that stood out immediately to me was the cinematography. And the cinematography was done by Steve Annis, and he does a great job here, along with director Rupert Sanders, just to kind of get a good look and feel for the film. It's a very grungy film, but also has like some neon splashes here and there. It kind of has like a new grunge feel, whereas the old Crow, from what I've seen of it, was very dark, very gothic. And this one tries to emulate that gothic feel. I feel like it doesn't quite capture the gothic look as of the original, or of anything I've seen from what people traditionally associate with The Crow with. I don't think it captured that as well as it could have. And so there is that. But overall, I think there's some shots that just kind of linger on some scenery or some set pieces, I think, that look really, really great. Another thing that I enjoyed here would be the action. The action in this film, when it does happen, is very gory, very brutal and bloody. And so whatever problems that I had with the film, it was a lot more easy to swallow when there was action on screen, because it's bloody, gory action. There's blood flying everywhere. People are losing limbs, people are losing their heads. There's some great kills in the opera house sequence that's shown in the trailer, where the Crow has a sword. I really enjoyed that part of the film. And I also thought that the sound design as well was good. The score was good. There were a few moments in the score where I was like, oh, this actually works really, really well given the film, given the context and the sound design, especially when he's in like limbo. I think was really interesting and very, very cool. There's some great moments where they experiment with silence and with just kind of playing the sounds or the dialogue over and over again, maybe behind you or to the left or the right of you. I thought that was actually pretty interesting, pretty neat. And if it feels like maybe I'm grasping at straws for some positives, kind of true. I'm trying to give credit where credit is due in this film, but that's also because as a whole, I did not care for this movie. I don't even know if I have any mixed. I'm just going to get right into the negatives. And the first thing that comes to mind is just the performances. As much as I really like Bill Skarsgård in so many things, I mean, It Chapter 1 and 2, there's Villains, I believe is what it's called. There's Baylin, I mean, just to name a few, those are like his big projects, but he's a good actor. He's by no means bad. And in this, I just couldn't bring myself to care about him. His performance seemed overacted and yet just a little goofy in the wrong ways. His accent, his voice is just all over the place. He's not very menacing. He's more laughable, like maybe you're pitying him when you're supposed to be fearing him. And the whole film kind of hinges on their relationship, their chemistry, their believability, to where their performances aren't the strongest, but the biggest issue with that is just the writing. They're written to feel like that high school couple that makes out in the drama hall before and after class, and their dialogue is just like middle school note passing, or like when I was in middle school, high school, like Tumblr was huge, so like you'd go on Instagram, you'd see like Tumblr screenshots like, what is your first thing you liked about me? You were so brilliantly broken. What? I'm sorry, stuff like that. It just feels like it's written to be like playing up that gothic romance aspect dialing it up to like 15, and it just did not work for me in the slightest. That gothic aspect, the romance aspect, mixed them together, it just did not work for me at all. It was far and away the weakest part of the film, and not only that, but it kind of just drags the pacing down a lot, because normally that would help you kind of get invested into the characters. When you're not, you're just kind of waiting for the crow action to happen, and it takes quite a while for the crow action to happen. It takes quite a while for it to kick in. I thought that once it finally kicked in, it was decent with the kills and with the action, but you're just not caring about what he's doing. You're not interested. You don't fear the villain, played by Danny Huston. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, because the script written by Rupert Sanders just isn't very strong. It doesn't give any time for his villain to breathe, anything for his villain to do. And the plot also hinges on some video that its purpose changes every 5 minutes, and it isn't really ever revealed. It's like, oh, the villain has to get this video or else he's ruined. Is he? Like, who is this guy? What is the point? Like, who we know kind of some things about him, but like, who is he? What does he do? And there's just a lot of subplots, a lot of scenes, like little scenes that just go nowhere. There's stuff with like cops being in on it potentially, like finding a body that just goes absolutely nowhere. So, I mean, everything here just kind of combines to be one spectacular mess. I see some people saying it's not as bad as they expected it to be, or it's not that bad because it debuted with such a low percentage on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't even know what it debuted with, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 15 or lower, because this film honestly has quite a few issues. And to where movies can have a lot of issues and have redeeming qualities or be very, very enjoyable regardless, this is one of those films where the big issues here with the script and the direction and the performances is like the main three things that you don't want to have issues with. It just falls apart, and the longer it goes on, the less invested I got. So overall, The Crow, I wasn't looking forward to it, but so I can't say I'm disappointed. But, I mean, what did I expect, really? It's about what you'd expect from the trailers. So overall, I'm going to give The Crow like a 3.5 out of 10. I did not really care for it. It was not that great. Well, guys, thank you so much for the support on the channel. Let me know what you thought about The Crow down in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.